to this segment. The last segment, we're looking at sports, particularly football. Stephen Keshi, the Super Eagles, and their preparations for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations. And we have a sports analyst, Mr. Harrison Jalla. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let's quickly, we don't have time, let's go down to the situation. What's the situation with Stephen Keshi now?
Yes, he's back as the coach of the team. And I think that has to do with the intervention of the president. It's fine, he has taken over the Eagles. I also wish him well in the next 2 matches that is left.
Yes,
you know, I think he will scale the hurdles.
But the NFF is not saying anything about a contract with him or no contract. Do you have an idea what that? How would that affect football?
He was in as an interim coach. You know, his contract expired after the World Cup. And he was in that situation before he was relieved of his job. I think if he can scale the hurdles that is left now, the 2 matches that we are about to play now, then issues about his contract will come back to the table.
If they scale through, is it a guarantee?
Yeah, you see, a coach, the performance of a coach guarantees his own future. You know, so I think if he qualifies the team, there will be need for the federation to discuss the contract with him.
Okay, but you know that in Nigeria, there's a mixed feeling about Stephen Keshi. Some see him as a hero, and some see him as not doing well. I mean, he got Nigeria the Nations Cup, took us to the World Cup, and then after that he's been treated as if he had done nothing, that he deserves better.
You see, the coaching job is a very volatile one. You know, you can be a hero today, you can become a villain tomorrow. You know, he did well. He took us to the World Cup. He won the Nations Cup, and took us to the World Cup. He was still in the last 16 in the World Cup, which is a remarkable improvement as well. You know, but in the run-up to the qualifiers, you know, he didn't really do well, and the new federation, in their own wisdom, say, "You've not done well. You know, we need a new coach." They have absolute right to do that.
But is it about him or the players?
Well, he will definitely take responsibility for all the actions of the players because he does the selections. He's the one in charge of the team. So the success and failure of the team depends on Stephen Keshi.
Let's look at how we're preparing for this very crucial match on Saturday. How do you think we are? Yesterday, camp opened yesterday, but as at yesterday, from what the papers are saying, Stephen Keshi was here to report in camp. Most of the foreign-based players are already arriving as of yesterday.
I don't see any problem in the next 2 matches. I think some of the players he refused to invite in the past matches are now part of these new invitations that came out. I'm sure that all things being well, you know, we'll be able to scale through Congo, you know, and South Africa.
How do you think we can achieve that? The Congolese team is believed to have stayed together. They understand themselves. I mean, the Nigerian team, they're coming from different places. They have new inputs from the local.
No, one thing you cannot take out of the Nigerian team is that in situations like this, when you think they are
flying the world around it,
that's the Nigerian mentality. So I still have every strong belief that it doesn't matter who was in charge of the team, whether it was Amodu, whether it was Stephen Keshi, we are still going to sail through. The boys are determined to ensure that they are in the Nations Cup. You know, so sometimes, you know, because we are very fanatical about our support of the Super Eagles, we don't want to hear anything about defeat. But football is something like that. England, with all the resources they put in, sometimes you lose some, you win some. So Nigerians must be patient, you know. Keshi is trying to build a new team. Even if you have a new coach tomorrow or a new technical advisor, he will also try to build a new team. I think we have a new team now. What we need to do is just to strengthen it.
Looking beyond this team, whether they qualify or do not qualify, how long do we have to be patient to see the kind of Super Eagles that most Nigerians have been longing for, like the type we had in '94?
It takes time, really.
How long?
It takes time. It takes about 4 to 5 years to build a standard team. A team, for instance, Keshi built a team, a very young team in the Nations Cup. But, to my surprise, he dropped most of the players.
Why do you
in the World Cup.
Why did he do that?
So I thought he was going to capitalize on the nucleus of that team in the Nations Cup in South Africa. But nobody gave us a chance. We saw young players who were trying to, we were trying to see a team like the '94 team trying to come up gradually. But I was surprised that in the World Cup proper, it doesn't matter whether we lose all the matches, but what is important is to build a team for the future, But to my surprise, most of those boys who did the magic in the Nations Cup were not in the World Cup.
Well, even now that we're going back to preparing for another Nations Cup, some of those boys haven't been brought back.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So it depends on who is in charge. Westerhoff, when he built the '94 team, there was consistency in the people he invited to the national team, and he kept on using them. Stephen Keshi was one of those players. He used them until we got to the World Cup. And when some boys were, getting advanced in age, he was dropping them and he had a pool of young players that he was drawing from. So we must begin to do that. I thought Stephen Keshi, being somebody that has worked under Westerhoff for a long time, will by now will have a nucleus of a team that we call a national team, without dismantling it at any point in time, because if that team we had in the Nations Cup, we built on it in the World Cup, they will be talking about a Nations Cup now that we retain in Morocco, and talking about another Nations Cup in 2018 in Russia, that Nigeria will create a very strong impact. So it's a long-term thing. It's not a thing that you do and you break, you do and break, you do and break. You don't build a national team in that manner.
Okay, now that we have just a few days to determine whether we're going for the Nations Cup in 2015, if you had a choice to advise Stephen Keshi and his coaching crew, what would you tell them? I mean, if you hear some of the names that have arrived in camp already, some of them are foreign-based, and we haven't heard of them. Many Nigerians haven't heard of them before. Exactly. But they're coming into camp. They're already in camp, and we have a few inputs on the local scene. What would you ask him to do?
No, he has to give us. You see, Nigerians are very passionate about football. And the average Nigerian knows if a coach is not giving us the best among the pools of players that we have. Mm-hmm. I think the problem Kechi has is that in the recent past, he has not been fielding the best legs that we have.
Do we have best legs?
No, we have, to some extent, although, yes, you can say now that the team is depleted if you compare it to what happened in 1994. But I still think that we have some good players that are consistent, that should be in the team at every point in time. For instance, I was talking about the Nations Cup in South Africa. There's nothing wrong with that team. That team that won the Nations Cup, in 2013, and we are in 2014 now. The nucleus of that team is supposed to be kept together, and you can now be infusing one or two persons inside it to strengthen the team. Because when you have a nucleus of a team, all you need to do is to build on that and strengthen it. But whatever the case is, we have very talented players in this country, whether home-based or foreign-based. If we can put a good team together, there's nothing stopping us from beating Congo and also beating South Africa.
Ikeoche is arriving camp today. Do you think he will make a difference?
That's a good news.
He will make a difference?
Of course, that's a good news. It's one of the old legs that we have, and he's been consistent in scoring in Spain. So I think it's a material that is needed in the national team.
Do you think the young man from Eyimba who's a midfielder that's joining the team will make any difference? Will he solve that midfield problem that
no, it depends, because now we don't know the list you know, the list for the actual match itself is not out. You know, it all depends on the handlers of the team. You know, but I think I have watched a lot of these matches within the Nigerian local league here, and the boys are good. I must tell you that, but they need to be encouraged.
How?
They need to be encouraged to be part of the national team. You must encourage them to be part of. They don't need to go outside the shores of this country to become part of the national team. You need to begin to infuse them in. It's very, very important. Like what they did in the Nations Cup. Sunday Mba was nowhere. He was a player in the local league, and we saw what he did. He made the difference.
But after making the difference, he has left the shores.
That's what I'm saying. Of course, yes, of course, because
he has to go.
Yes, he has to go because we don't have the capacity financially to begin to keep our boys here. You know, we are still struggling to build a league, you know, after so many years. Financially, although we have all the resources to have been running one of the best leagues in the world, you know, but we don't seem to be getting it right in the local scene.
Well, thank you so much, Harrison Jala. Thank you for coming. We hope the Super Eagles will do good by Nigerians and win that match against Congo.
Thank you very much.
Sunrise Daily will be back shortly. Please don't go away.
Well, this is where we say many thanks for being such a nice company, but again, we must stay on that particular matter. We need answers to questions. We really can't sit idly by and watch our children, women and children and parents and everyone being maimed and killed. What has actually gone wrong with the alleged ceasefire is a big question we're asking, and who has been speaking with Idris Deby, and do we truly know the antecedent of President Deby of Chad? I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Well, thank you for your responses as well. I'm Maokwe Ogun.
And I'm Noel Tolby. Have a great day.
We'll see you again.